Welcome back student. This is the last theory lecture on our semiconductor, and in this lecture we will be covering two small points. One is the application of transistor and another is what? Conductivity in a semiconductor. Okay. The conductivity in semiconductor I should have taught you in the starting itself, but I thought I should teach at the end because this is related with our current electricity. Okay. So let's start with the application of transistors. So in our syllabus we have three applications of transistor. Transistor can be used as an amplifier, which is most common application. It can be used as an oscillator to produce what? Electromagnetic waves, and last it can work as an automatic switch also. So three applications we have: transistor as a switch, as an amplifier, and as an oscillator. Okay, yes. Okay, so first we are talking these two applications we are learning together, okay, because they are related. What? Transistor as a switch and transistor as an amplifier. Okay, meaning, hope you understand, amplifier means what? Increasing the voltage output, right? Now you give input this much voltage, it can give an amplified, means increase output voltage, right, without changing its frequency, without changing its shape. Okay, yes, amplification. Okay, if you want, right, you can write definition of amplifier also. What is the amplifier? The increasing input signal. Okay, input signal giving low strength, it gives a high strength output signal without changing what? The frequency of that signal and shape also, right? Now you're giving a sine wave, output should be a sine wave, right? Now, yes. Okay, so to understand this we took a transistor, and what type of transistor this is? What? NPN and common emitter mode. Okay, so if you want to use a switch and amplifier, generally use what? Common emitter mode. Okay, so it's an NPN type of transistor. You can take PNP also, and mode is what? Common emitter mode. Okay, yes. So this is normal circuit only, what I teach you all the time. So look here, this is an input side, input battery, input resistance. This is what? Your junction, VB junction here, from here to here. Output side, output battery, output resistance, and the junctions both will come in output circuit, C to B and B to what? E, or directly called V, C to E. Okay, yes. Okay, now already know that this side, input side, is what? Forward biased, and this side is what? Reverse biased. Yes, correct only. Okay, now what happens if I draw a graph between what? To understand the working of this, we are drawing a graph. Okay, this graph, their name also given, this is called transfer characteristics. Transfer characteristics. Okay, actually this is a graph between what? Output voltage versus input voltage of this V naught, V in. If you draw a graph for this transistor in common emitter mode, okay, and how it looks, it will look like this way. This is the graph. Okay, yes. So what's important thing here, this graph is divided into three parts. Let's say this is one part, and this is what? Another part. This is a third region. Okay, so we give some name to them. This is region 1, let's call it region 1. This is what? Region 2, and this is region 3. Correct. So now what happens? Watch carefully. This is called cut off region. What's the name of this? Cut off region. Okay, the middle one is called active region, and this is called saturation region. This graph was asked in our exam, and it was asked to identify that in which part it work, how, where it work as a switch and where it work as a amplifier. Okay, simple, this graph was asked. So watch carefully. It's a graph between output voltage versus input voltage, V naught, V in. This is also called transfer characteristics, and three parts we have divided. First part is called cutoff region, middle is called active region, and last is called what? Saturation region. Now active region, in this region your transistor work as a switch. How is work? Switch. Okay, in this region it will work as a switch, and the switch will be what? Off. Switch is what? Off. Correct. Okay, in this region it work again as a switch, and switch is what here? On. Switch off, switch is what? On. And in this region, middle region, it work as an amplifier. So it's very important curve. This was asked already in our exam, to identify there where to work as a switch, and switch is on and off, right? So first region is called cutoff region. okay, it's work as a switch, and switch is what, off. And the last saturation region, it work as a switch again, and switch is what, on. The middle, this is called active region, and here it work as an amplifier, right? Okay. The mathematics of this already I told you, because they ask you what current gain and voltage gain here. So already we have learned this mathematically in last lecture, okay. Still, if you want, right, you should understand how to write the equations here, loop equations by Kirchhoff's law, right? Kirchhoff's second law. So yesterday we did. Suppose you talk output loop here, right? This is output loop. Your VCC battery. Suppose output loop I am talking. Already we have learned this and we have solved problems on this. Still I am writing here. Output loop, you talk your VCC voltage. Then this is battery, output battery. This voltage goes to what? This resistance plus junction from C to what? E. This one closed loop. Watch it, okay? Yes. So this is equal to what? ICRC. That's also called your output voltage. Plus what? The voltage drop from C to what? E junction. So VCE. This is the equation yesterday I discussed with you already, and numerical also you have done. Or you talk input loop. Let's talk about input loop on this side. Then this is a battery VBB. That battery VBB, input battery, is equal to what? The voltage drop, input resistance, and this junction what? B to E junction. So you can write this IB, RB, this is your input voltage, and VB to what? E, from here to here, okay? Yes. And already I told you that the junction voltage from C to E, VCE, this one, you can also write VC to B, C to B, and B to E what? E. This also you can write, right? And numerical on this already I have done, okay? Yes. So what happens as an amplifier, when you give a signal, input signal like here, low strength signal, okay, like this type of signal, yes, this is an input signal. Then it will give us an amplified what? Output signal. So output signal will look like this one, little bigger, okay? Okay. But what will happen if you watch, very important point is here, this can be asked in exam. Last lecture I discussed the properties of all these three: common emitter mode, common base mode, and common collector mode. Then one very important property came there, the phase difference between input and output, okay. So for common base and common collector, the input phase and output phase are exactly same phase, there is no phase difference. But in case of common emitter, there is a 180-degree phase difference. Suppose I am giving input cycle here like this way, okay, then how output looks, it will be amplified and opposite of this. There is a phase of 180-degree between input and output for a common emitter transistor, right? It's clear to you? So it will be amplified, yes, it will get value get increased, but why value can increase? Because remember that common emitter and common emitter current gain is called like beta, and beta is what? Big, because beta formula, if you remember, that beta was IC by IB, correct? So this is always more than 1. So your amplified signal is what? Always increase, correct na? Yes. Okay, suppose somebody asks you voltage gain, I told you how to write in output voltage by input voltage. You can write in terms of current and resistance also. So generally here on the right, voltage gain, suppose VC is equal to what? Current gain, beta into what? Resistance gain, RC by what? RB, right? Yes. And the people put a negative sign to represent that there is a phase difference of what? 180-degree for a common emitter transistor. This is important. Yes, signal get amplified, but there is a phase difference of what? 180-degree, okay, for case of what? Common emitter transistor, okay. So yeah, you can draw this, and this is what your graph also called transfer characteristics. This graph was asked in exam. Main thing they ask is numerical, already we have done yesterday, okay. Yes. Okay, so you can pause the videos and copy this. Okay. And now moving to the second applications, not much important here, because this topic oscillator we learn again in what? Our AC chapter. The main description how this work we will learning in AC chapter. Okay. Okay, still let's see here. So two applications are here, as a switch, as an amplifier, and third application is what? As an oscillator. What is an oscillator? It's a device to generate what? Your electromagnetic waves, right now? Yes. So oscillator is what? It oscillates and produces what? Your electromagnetic waves, right now. So what's the main thing about this? You can take any type of like you want to produce waves here, right? AMWs. For that, in this case, you don't need to supply like input wave also like same wave, right? Not like this wave. You can give any DC like current also, like here a battery is connected, simply it will use what? Oscillating waves or AMWs as output, okay. So what is the simple structure? Again, you have a transistor. This is an NPN type of transistor, okay. This is NPN, also working in common emitter mode. This is E, this is yes, B, and this is what, C. Okay, so what we have here, this is called a tank circuit. We have a capacitor here and an inductor. They are connected in parallel, right? Yes. So what happens now? Okay, in capacitor your energy stored in terms of what? Electricity, right? Remember half CV square. Actually these things I will teach you in what? AC chapter also. Okay, so energy stored in this guy is what? You know, half CV square. Energy stored in this guy is, know what? Inductors half Li square. So this energy oscillate from here to here, here to here. Okay, yes. So energy oscillating and the waves will be produced. Okay, yeah. What happens generally? Look, watch carefully. This is called tank circuit. What's the name of this? Tank circuit. Okay, this is producing what? Here oscillations of energy happening, magnetic energy into electric, electric into what? Magnetic. This happens, and that will produce what? Your AMWs. But what happens here? Generally energy is lost. So what we do? We provide a feedback from here. Look here, these two are, this a parallel line means what? They are mutually in induction. Okay, mutual induction happening between these two. If you don't know what is mutual induction, please wait till we learn. Okay, yes. So this is providing what? Continuous feedback to this, so that energy is not lost, energy is constant, so we get a constant amplitude waves output. Suppose we are not providing this feedback, then energy will be lost, so it doesn't get a constant amplitude waves output. Okay, the amplitude of the waves will decrease. Okay, so this is not important here, first thing. Okay, here we are taking output, that's all, simply transform only. Okay, yes. Okay, so this is what? Okay, everybody know that here, what's the frequency produced here? Frequency. So frequency will be what? 1 by 2 pi root L and C, right? This is a frequency produced. This question was asked, okay, in our exam. What's the frequency produced? So this, the formula, this working of this, how really internally they work, that all we will learn in what? AC chapter. Okay, this will come there again. So I am teaching just basics only, what we need in this chapter, that's all. Okay, so this is a formula important for us. Okay, okay. Apart from the applications, I said a word that like feedback. So let's discuss little about what feedback. What is feedback actually? Okay, so let's write feedback. So what is feedback? What happens now? Some machine is doing like this, or transistor, or any as an amplifier, as an oscillator, doesn't matter here. So what we do? Some part of the output is given back again to what? The input. So this process is called what? Feedback. Okay, so how you define? Giving part of output back to input is called what? Feedback, right? Yes, this feedback is used to either you increase your voltage or what? Decrease the to increase the output, or what? Decrease the output. We do feedback. So we have two type of feedback. One is called like positive feedback. Positive feedback. So in this process, what is positive feedback? A part of output again is supplying to input, and the output and input should be what? In same phase. Then they are called what? Positive feedback. So how I define? I am writing here, if output supplied back to input are in phase. If they are in same phase, then this is called positive feedback. So when you supply positive feedback, what happens to the gain? So we write gain after feedback. Okay, gain after feedback. Let's call this A. After feedback, AF I can write. AF means after feedback, what is the gain? Okay, so this is defined by A by 1 minus beta into what? A. This is a small formula. And what this formula is this? AF. This is called gain after feedback, right? Any gain, voltage. We generally talk voltage gain, but it can be power gain, whatever. Okay, yes. So voltage gain after feedback is equal to original gain A. Okay, before. A is called gain before feedback. Okay, yes, correct. And AF is called gain after feedback. Okay, once you supply feedback, then what is the gain here, right? And beta is what here? Not current gain, is part of the output supplied to what? Input. Part or percentage also you can say, part of output supplied back to what? Input. Correct. So generally this is given percentage. They say 10% of the output is supplied back to the input. 10% means this is what 0.10% is 10 by 100. So this becomes 0.1. Okay. So if you see that there's one minus is coming, means this value is always increased. So in positive feedback, what happening? Your output means the feedback after what do you call this? The gain after feedback is always more than what your initial. Right now is increased here. Gain is increased in case of what? Positive feedback. Okay. So once more, let's see. This is called gain after feedback. This is called gain before feedback. Beta is called the part of the output again supplied to what? Input as a feedback. So this is generally given percentage. Okay. Yes. So this is what positive. If you want to write negative, then just opposite of this, negative feedback. So what will be the definition? Like here, positive feedback, the output part supplied to input is in phase. Here they will be out of phase. Part that is supplying is what? Out of phase. There is a phase difference. So how you write formula here? Gain after feedback, original gain 1 plus beta into what? A. So watch it. What happening here? Positive sign, right? This sign is what? Positive, meaning remains same. A is what? Gain before the feedback. AF is what? Gain after the feedback. Beta is the part of the output supplied to what? Again into the input, right? Yes. So here you see that your AF is what? Less than A. Here gain is what? Reduce. In negative feedback, gain is what? Reduce. Positive feedback, gain is increased. So okay, these are all about gain. Sometimes they can ask a question like this one, something called cascaded amplifier. What's the meaning of this? 2-3 amplifiers are connected in one line. Then they ask net gain. So always remember that net gain, okay, A net, whatever you want to write, is always equal to what? A1, A2, A2. You can multiply there. Means the saying there are 2 or 3 or 4 transistors are connected cascadically, right now, and gain of first is what? 10, gain of second is 20, then gain of third is something. Then what is net gain? You just multiply them, okay? A1, A2, A3 and A3, right? This goes on, okay? So this is the application of our transistor. And now one small topic we have, that's called conductivity in semiconductors. So we'll talk about that, okay? Then this chapter will be done. Okay, so we're doing the last topic now, which is conduction in semiconductor, okay? In real, this topic comes at the starting of this chapter itself, but I did not taught you because all the concept in this topic are from current electricity, okay? So we will learning that chapter soon. So hope you remember basic of current electricity, because there is nothing is new here, okay? So if you remember that, suppose you have wire, right? Okay, then you connect to a battery, potential V, you know that there are maybe free electrons and hole depending upon what type of conductor is this, P type, N type or a pure semiconductor, okay? We don't know, right? Some current flows, right? So from current electricity I am writing all the formulas here. I am not deriving anything because we will learn all these things there, okay? Yes. What is the current flowing through this wire? Current, first thing you learn, right? Remember current you write in terms of drift velocity of the electrons and all. So that is what? NEAVD. Hope you remember this. This is very popular in current electricity. So let me tell you meaning of all. N is called density of charge carrier, right now. What is density of the electrons? What is the density of the holes per meter cube? Okay, it's just not a number. It's what? Number density. Okay. Is the charge of one charge, right? Yes. A is called area of cross section, right? And this is called drift velocity. Your VD is called what? Drift velocity. Correct? Yes. So current you learned, first topic, small things you learned that I am writing all. Okay. Then what you learned after this? Okay. What is drift velocity again? I will write in terms of mobility later. Another word you use here, what? Current density. Remember? Current density. And we write a capital J symbol. So once more I'm telling, if you don't know these things, it's okay, there is no problem, because all these derivations are in what? Current electricity. So I'm not deriving them, I'm just writing them here. Rarely they can ask some question to us about this. Okay. So current density is what? Current per unit area, right? This is called current density, current per unit area. So this formula divided by area, you get N, E and VD. This is what in terms of this format, right? Then remember, you write mobility also. Mobility. We write mu symbol. And what is the definition of mobility? The drift velocity per unit electric field. So drift velocity VD by what? E. This is called mobility, right? Okay. So what you can do, this formula, J formula, current density, you can also write in this format, because what you do, you replace here VD. This VD is what? Mu into E. So you can write N E mu into what? E. You can write that format also, right? Then last you write, if you remember that, you write in terms of like conductivity and resistivity format, right? Okay, so you can convert this one in terms of conductivity. I'm not deriving here. Conductivity, we write sigma symbol. So sigma is what? If you remember, it becomes E and what? Mu. Charge, density and what? Mobility, right? This is what your conductivity. Opposite of this is called resistivity, right? Resistivity, we write rho symbol. Rho is nothing but what? 1 by sigma, you can say, or opposite of this like E and mu, right? Yeah, these are all our general formula. This and all this formula we will derive and learn nicely in what? Current electricity. I just wrote it here. Okay, please note down them and try to remember. Now, what we need here, two possible questions are possible. One question was asked on this formula itself. They say that there are two semiconductor, some ratio was given, like drift velocity ratio in case of hole is this much, in case of electron is this much. Electron and hole will be having different drift velocity. Okay, so this drift velocity of electron and drift velocity of the hole was given. Then they asked what's the ratio of current due to them if numbers are equal. So current is directly proportional to what? Drift velocity. I will give some numerical example to you also. Okay, let's see. So three things we can say, like we have learned three type of semiconductor. One is called intrinsic, right? Means what? Your pure. Then other is called extrinsic. We have N type. Then other is called what? P type. So how we differentiated them? Hope you remember. Look here. In this case, number of electrons and number of holes are equal. Correct? Here, number of free hole is much more than number of the holes. Number, when I say number, is always number density, number of charge carrier per unit volume. And here number of free hole is what? Much more than number of the electrons free. Okay, yes. So these questions they can ask to you, like I ask you what is the current in a pure semiconductor I? What is this? Okay, you know what is the answer? Look here. And number is what? Same, correct? And only we can call intrinsic, right? Then charge also same, area also same. What is only different? Actually in real I am writing current. In case of intrinsic, there is current due to what? Holes plus current due to what? Electrons both. So both current I have written like IE plus IH. But leaving this thing, all are same only. Okay, density, number, charge and area. So what I am doing, simply I am writing like this way. Okay. So net current is simply writing N, E and A I to common, just V of the electron plus V of the hole. That's all. So what is the net current in case of pure semiconductor? Number of charge carrier, density, charge of one electron or hole, area of cross section of that semiconductor, drift velocity of the electron plus drift velocity of the hole. Okay, so what happens in this case? N type. N type, this number of the free hole is what? Negligible. There is only what? Electrons are there. So current becomes only due to what? Electrons. So what is the answer current here? Just N, E, A and what? VE. Drift velocity of the electron alone. And in this case, number of electrons are negligible. Number of holes only there, free holes. So current is due to what? Only holes. So N, E, A and V, H. This is the current, right? Apart from this current, what they can ask is what? This conductivity and these things. Okay, conductivity you talk. Okay, This is a current. Suppose you talk conductivity, I wrote here, this is what current, okay, conductivity, sigma, okay. So what is sigma? Sigma due to what? Electron plus sigma due to what? Hole. Both in case of pure semiconductor, both are there, right? So both. Look here again, E and what? N will be same, just mu is only different. So net will be equal to simply E and N, you took common, mobility of the electrons, mobility of the hole. This is what your net conductivity, okay. So same thing here. What is conductivity here? Here conductivity due to only what? Electrons, okay. Yes, so it will be E N and what? Mu of E. Same way here it will be E and mu and what? H alone, right? This is what, if they ask anything in exam about this, okay. Yes, so you can note down this and how this coming, all these things, derivations and everything we learn in current, electricity, okay. Okay, so apart from this, I missed a small point while teaching, that like N type and P type, this relation only. When I was discussing pure semiconductor and impure, I missed a point, that is a relation between what? Pure and impure semiconductor. That's called mass action law, okay. So I'm writing that here now, mass action law. This law relate what? Your pure and impure semiconductor, okay. It relates what? Pure and impure. Impure means N type, P type, okay, semiconductor, right? What it relates? It says that you have a pure semiconductor where, you know, these are equal, we call them a Ni symbol, right? Yes. It says that Ni square, pure semiconductor, the charge concentration square is equal to what? Ne into what? Nh. This is called pure side, this is called your impure side. They are related by what? This is formula, this is called what? Mass action law. So what happens? You have a pure semiconductor, this charge concentration will be given to you, it's Ni square generally given, then you dop with trivalent or any pentavalent. So any one thing will be known to you, like either number of the electrons generated will be known to you, they will ask you number of the hole there, or number of hole generated will be known to you, they will ask you number of the electron there. So pure side, the impure side, they are equal, right? Initial charge concentration when it's pure, after doping any one will be known to you, other you have to find, okay. So this is called mass action law. I will give numerical example on this also to you, okay. Okay, so theoretically we have done it here. I have to discuss one or two example on this and this also, okay. Let's do that. Okay, so we have few problems here based on your mass action law and the conductivity in a semiconductor, okay, recent topic. Okay, first these two questions are based on mass action law. Let's see them. Question number 1. There is a pure semiconductor is given. It has equal charge concentration. Yes, always it has equal only of Ne and what? Nh of this much. Charge concentration of electron and hole pair is given, and on doping 3 into 10 power 22 per meter cube indium atoms. This means number of indium atoms are doped. They said that find the number of the electrons generated, okay. Look what is given to you. Pure silicon gives intrinsic concentration given, which is given 1.5 into 10 power 16 per meter cube, right? Pure semiconductor means the number of the free holes and free electrons will be exactly equal. We call them a common symbol, that's called Ni, right? Yes. I means intrinsic, okay. Yes. Now what else given? This much number of indium atom we doping. What is indium first? Indium is what? Trivalent, right? No. Indium is what? Trivalent. Trivalent gives you what? Holes. Correct? No? What it gives? Hole. Pentavalent gives what? Extra electrons to you. So this much number of indium you doping, and every one atom of indium will give what? One free hole to us, right? So this much number of indium atoms we doping per meter cube means the number of holes generated will be equal to what? That number only, because one atom of impurity you dope, we get what? One free hole or free electron. So here we doping trivalent impurity, so we will get hole. So number of the hole that we will get is simply equal to what? 3 into 10 power what? 22 per meter cube. Units you have to give attention. Sometimes they can write cubic centimeter, okay. Okay, now they are asking what is the number of the electrons generated. So now we are writing mass action law. It says that Ni square should be equal to what? Ne into what? Nh. Yes, this we know, holes we know, so you have to calculate number of the electrons generated. So n is simply equal to ni square upon what? nh. Ni square is square of this number. So 1.5 into 1.5 into 10 power what? 32 divided by number of the hole 3 into 10 power what? 22. Okay. This goes 2 times, right? Okay, see 2 by this you can write 0.75 into 10 power what? 10 remaining, or you can write 7.5 into 10 power 9 per meter cube. This is the number of the electrons generated there. We are doping with indium, which is what? Trivalent. Okay, trivalent means we will make what? P type of semiconductor, means number of hole obviously will be more. Yes, this much number of atoms we have doped, so this much number of the holes will be generated, correct? Okay. Second question. A pure silicon has Ni, intrinsic concentration given again, right? And it has 5 into 10 power 28 atoms per meter cube. Watch carefully. Initial concentration is given to you, initial charge concentration given, which is what? Ni, and Ni means what? Number of the holes and number of electrons are equal. Okay, Ni given. Then total number of the silicon atom is also given to you. This is the total number of silicon atom given. It has 5 to 10 power 28 atoms per meter cube. If it is doped by 1 ppm concentration of arsenic, the doping concentration is given what? 1 ppm. ppm is parts per million, you know, right? So what's the meaning of this? For every 1 million silicon atoms, we doping 1 atom of impurity. Okay, and impurity is given arsenic. First understand, arsenic is what? Is pentavalent, right? Arsenic is what? Pentavalent, means it will give what? You free electrons, correct? Okay, let's step by step follow. Ni is given to you. Okay, Ni given, how much given? Ni 1.5 into 10 power what? 16 per meter cube. Ni given, right? Total number of the silicon atom is given, right? Total number of silicon atoms per meter cube is 5 into 10 power 28. And how many arsenic we doping? 1 parts per million. For every million number of the silicon atoms, we doping 1 impurity. So you want to calculate total like arsenic atom dopes. Okay, how much arsenic we have doped? Okay, atom. So how we dope? Look here, 1 ppm concentration given, total number of silicon is given 5 into 10 power 28. 1 part per million, means for every million silicon atom we doping 1 impurity atom. Okay, so divide by what? 10 power 6 here. So now we calculate total number of the arsenic atom we have doped, 5 into 10 power what? 22 per meter cube, same unit. Total number of silicon atoms are given here per meter cube, and for every 1 million of silicon atom we are doping 1 arsenic atom. So divided by 1 million, so we got total number of the arsenic atom we have doped. And arsenic is what? Pentavalent, it gives what? Electron. This much number of arsenic atom we have doped, so this much number of the electrons will be generated. So number of electrons, Ne is what? Simply this much only, 5 into 10 power what? 22 per meter cube. So this is simply what? Number of the electrons generated. And this question they are asking what is the number of the holes and number of the electron. Number of electron already found, number of hole you can write by mass action law. Okay, so let's write mass action law. Ni square is equal to what? Ne into what? Nh. So number of the holes you want to calculate, Nh, which is what? Ni square by what? Ne. Initial concentration given here, 1.5 into 1.5 into 10 power what? 32. 16 are writing 32. And divide by number of the electron, which is 5 into 10 power what? 22. Okay, this gets cancelled, 10 power 10 remaining. You can remove any one decimal, right? 5 goes 3 times, 3 is what? 4.5 into 10 power what? 9 per meter cube. This is your number of the holes after doing this. Okay, so these two questions were based on what? Your mass action law. Okay, hope you understood them. It's very simple also. Okay, next two questions are based on your conductivity in semiconductor. Okay, yes, let's see them. Look at third question. For a given semiconductor, the contribution of current due to electron and hole pair is in ratio of this one. The current due to electron and hole is given in this ratio, and the drift velocity ratio is also given 5:2. Okay, calculate the ratio of the electron to hole concentration. Look here, current given, drift velocity given, they are asking charge concentration ratio. Current formula is what? Current is what? NEAVD. This is given to you, current ratio given to you. What else given? Drift velocity ratio given to you. Then they are asking charge concentration, means N ratio they are asking is constant, A is what? Constant. You talk holes or electrons, charge is same only, and area of the cross section of that semiconductor also what? Same. So these two things are constant, forget them. We have to find N. So N is directly proportional to what? I by what? VD. Charge concentration, N means the number of electrons or holes per meter cube, is proportional to what? Current by what? Drift velocity. Both ratios are given to us, right? So what ratio they are asking? Electron to hole they are asking. So number of electrons, number of the hole is equal to, so directly proportional to what? Current. What is the current ratio given? 3 by what? 1. Inversely proportional to what? Velocity. So 5 ratio 2 given, we will write what? 2 ratio what? 5. Hope I am writing correct only. Yes. Okay, if you confused, I can write like this one. Directly proportional current, so current due to electron by current due to what? Hole. Drift velocity due to hole by drift velocity due to what? Electron, right? Yes. So electron to hole current is what? 3 by what? 1. But that what you call electron to hole, we need what? Is where it went? Yes, it's here. So 5 will come here and 2 will go up. Okay, now this is okay. So 6 by 5 or 6 ratio 5 will be your answer. Charge concentration. Okay. Yes. Okay. Then see one more question here. What will be the conductance? Conductance they are asking rho of a pure silicon at temperature. If electron hole pair concentration is given, is a pure semiconductor given, so charge, electron and hole pair concentration is always equal, is given, and mobility of the electron given, mobility of the hole is given. Mobilities are given, charge concentration given, and they are asking what? Conductance. So conductance generally we learned sigma is what? E, N and mu. But I know that for a pure semiconductor both will come, so E, N and mu of the electron, mu of the hole. This is what your total conductivity due to electrons plus holes. Okay, E and N are same, the charge and number is given already same, so I took them common. Let's put their value just. Charge of electrons 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. Charge concentration is given 1.5 into 10 power what? 10. Okay, per meter cube given. This also given SI system, meter volt per second. Yes. So mu E plus means that is given 550, this is given 450. So this is simply 1.6 into 1.5 into 10 power, this is minus 9 remaining, 10 goes from here, and this becomes what? 1000. Correct. 3 more zeros goes from here, so 1.6 into 1.5 into 10 power what? Minus 6. Okay. Yes. And what is the unit of conductivity? Mho, MHO. All these things, if you don't know, there is no problem, we will learn in current electricity. Okay, so this number will come something like 15 into 15 is 225, right? 225 and plus 15 more, so it becomes 225 means 250 means 2.5 into 10 power what? Minus 6, something like that answer will come. Okay. Okay, so now we have done the complete semiconductor. Now all topics are covered. So now it's your job to finish the exercise 1 and exercise 2 also. Okay, so previous year questions also you are the only solving, because it's a very easy topic, there should not be a big problem. So if you stuck in any questions from exercise 1 or exercise 2, please mention in the comment that what questions I have to solve, what questions video solution need on board here. Okay, so please mention the exercise 1 or 2 and the question numbers where you're sticking. So the questions where you stuck, those questions only I will solve here and put on what? Video. Okay, so keep trying and good luck.